All right. Hi, Tyler.
Good afternoon, Amanda.
Hi. This is the third installment of what we're now calling Health Hangouts with Amanda. And it's kind of like turning into like a podcast idea in some sense. And so we're meeting with Tyler today, who is the founder of Breath Control, and he's on our team and has done some work with some of our clientele and just has a brilliant program. But we're here really to talk about just how Tyler is coping with what's happening in the world and how he's taking care of himself and his family and anybody around him. And for me to talk about the same. So Tyler, welcome. My name is Amanda. I'm the director of strength counseling. And I'm really thankful, Tyler, that you've joined me today to have this chat. And yeah, so I'm just curious, what's this been like for you in your profession? And although you're doing breath control work, you're also a registered nurse.
Right? Yes,
and
I'm an LPN, licensed practical
you're an
nurse.
LPN. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's been different. I think that's the same story for everyone, that it's different. I'm working majority or 100% from home through telehealth, and we're offering services and we're doing our sessions online. But what's different is, so are my two young boys and my wife, who is a hairstylist. So she's at home right now too. And so yeah, we're all developing our new kind of way of life as we move along. But so far, there's been a lot of developing, but it's been a lot of good, a lot more good than anything else. With I think our favorite time of day is having everyone around the dinner table all at the same time and everyone home. And it's pretty amazing just to have that. I mean, it just seems like there's been so much growth within our family just by having that time together every night designated to, just kind of exploring and just figuring out and finding out all the new stuff about each other.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm finding that in conversations that I'm having with a lot of other folks that they're finding it challenging to be together all the time. Even though, a lot of people out there have really close-knit family systems and they're finding it challenging. And then of course there's folks out there who don't have close-knit family systems, and there was conflict and a lot of challenges prior to this even happening, right? So for you, I'm hearing that you're saying like it's bringing you guys together, and I wonder how it's doing that.
Not without the challenges, that's for sure. I need to give a lot of praise to my wife, who has been incredible, and what she's been doing throughout the days while I've been working from the office is she's been doing mom school with the boys. And so she's done a curriculum that she's come up with herself. They do science, they do some breathing classes that I do help out with, but they do science classes where they learn about the respiratory system. And today they were learning about hummingbirds and birds of British Columbia. And then they have recess breaks, so that I go out and run with them around the block for about 15 minutes. And we get our physical activity in. And then we schedule lunch and recess breaks. And so that's kind of everything, like I said, is different, but by having that little bit of normalcy, like a little bit of structure, I think has really been helping the boys. And I mean, it's changed the lifestyle for my wife to put all this in place and be doing it. But I think that's why we all enjoy, like I mentioned, when it's dinner time and the day's over and I'm out of the office and they're done with their routine for the day, and we could all kind of come together and share the stories of like what's happened throughout our days, and just knowing that we're all in the same area, but just all working differently and all having little different roles that we're all beginning in our lives. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamics that's going on.
For sure. Now I do want to talk a bit about how you're using breath control as a way to support yourself and your family, and how you're doing that online. I know you've done some work online with some of our clients, but I want to talk about that in a sec. But just just from a father's perspective, if you have any thoughts for the viewers that or the followers that we might have who might watch this video, for fathers out there who are struggling with having the kids home and being home all the time, because you said, you know, although this has been positive for your family, it sounds like it's brought you together, it's not without its challenges, I heard you say. So
Yes.
do you have any thoughts for the dads out there who might be watching?
Yes, I do. Just it's very important to take that time, although I mean everyone might be together in tight quarters, but to take that time by yourself to just do some breathing techniques that kind of help center you. Okay, because everyone's got, you know, what's happening next on their mind, like what's going to go on next. So it's really important just to be able to kind of pull yourself into the present moment and not have to be constantly focused on, okay, what time is our prime, is 8 o'clock in the morning yet? Is Prime Minister coming to talk to us this morning? And what's happening? When's the update this afternoon? And what's going on? But just to be present in the moment. And the breath is such a just awesome tool to help get ourselves in the moment. It's something that you can't intellectualize. You can't fake the breath. So whatever is going on inside with you in that moment, that's what kind of comes out through the breath. So just very simple techniques. Maybe I'll just run through a very quick one, Amanda, just to what the guys can do, or what, I mean, this isn't strictly just for the fathers, but anyone can do this. But just,
yeah, I'll do it with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
You just tell me what to do.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
The key, it was very simple, but the key is just to breathe 24/7 through your nose. Okay, that's what, there's a lot of benefits that come along with breathing through the nose. But we're just going to breathe in through the nose, down deep into our lungs. Okay, so a deep breath, it doesn't mean we fill up our chest, but deep breath means the distance from the top to bottom. Okay, so a low breath is a better way to describe it. So you're trying to pull that air down, and a deep belly breath. And then you want to fill up your lungs.
Should I close my eyes? Or
if it helps. Okay. Yeah, if it helps you relax.
And all our viewers, like, I would recommend that you do this with us.
Yes.
And there's more that can come if you're interested. But this could be very helpful for me, because I'm like high anxiety and running around, and now I'm like doing nothing at home except offering a lot of free services. And so this is like, there's a big changes for me too, right? So this is helpful for me to learn how to stay in my body and stay present, because a lot of the time I'm in here and I'm, you know, in meetings and doing a lot of things. And so now that I'm calming down, it's a really beautiful opportunity to take that time and just like chill out. Right. And not allowing the anxiety of what's happening in the world to impact me to a point where I can't function in this freedom that I now have offered to me. Right. And I say this for not only my benefit, but yours, and like everybody who might hear this message. It's like, I think that a lot of us can get into a place where we are taking this anxiety and allowing it to balloon. And when we do that, we are at greater risk for a lot more problems in our lives, and depression is a big one. And when we become kind of enveloped in even mild depression, that it can get deeper and deeper and deeper if we're not taking responsibility for what's happening around us and what we can be doing differently. So I would encourage anybody who's watching this to join us in this, because this is just as much as it might be very helpful for me, I think it could be very helpful for anybody else. So Tyler, yeah, just run us through a brief, you know, it could be 15 minutes if you want it to be, it could be 5 minutes, like whatever you want to do. I am at your mercy.
All right. Well, what this is your functional 24/7 breathing technique that you can use while at rest, during physical activity, and eventually through your sleep. And it will take over after a few weeks of practice, and after you're just continually doing it, it will take over throughout your sleep. And the important thing is that you want to lead with your breath into any situation in life, any conversation, any movement. You want to lead with your breath, okay? Because if you lead with your breath, then your body will follow right behind that, and then your mind will follow right behind that. And that's where your emotional regulation comes from. And that's where the calmness comes from. Okay? So breathing with your nose, bringing that air deeply down as low as you can into the lobes of your lungs, and imagining that you're filling up a water bottle. Okay? So from bottom to top. Okay? When you reach the top, it'll be different for everyone, but you get to the top, you want to stop right before you start activating your shoulder blades, okay? Before you start activating your clavicular muscles. As if you do that, we breathe about 30,000 times a day, and that's a lot of unnecessary tension that you add to your shoulders. So bottom to top, and then as we get to the top, you're stopping and you're giving just a 1 second pause, okay? And that pause is not a hard stop, but it is more, think of like when you throw a tennis ball up in the air and then it hangs for 1 second of weightlessness and then comes right back down, okay? And as I'm explaining this, I mean, it's kind of difficult to do as I'm going along, but it'll just take me a minute to get through it, then we'll all do it together and we'll go through the process together as we're going. But as we're going bottom to top, it's important to think that we're also expanding outwards, okay? Think of if you have a pet cat or a pet dog and you watch how it breathes. It doesn't breathe from the belly down, okay? When you look at it and you see it breathing like from the spine outwards, all right? And that is the same with every single mammal on the earth, besides a lot of us, because we've grown into these dysfunctional breathing patterns that we've established over time from, poor posture to maybe a physical injury, maybe it's past trauma that's causing that dysfunctional breathing, PTSD. But what we're doing is you're breathing. I mean, it might help for this part if you want to put your hands on your lower ribs. Move the camera down. So your lower floating ribs right down here. Okay. A little bit more. So as you're breathing in, bottom to top, you're also expanding widthwise. Okay, that's that lateral expansion and then the lateral contraction as you exhale. So as you breathe in, your ribs are moving outwards. Exhale, moving inwards. Okay, does that feel right? Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I can feel that. Absolutely.
It's a different feeling because most of us aren't used to utilizing.
Well, I don't pay attention to it really at all.
Yeah, most join 90% of the rest of us. Okay, so that's our inhale. All right, so that's bottom to top and that lateral expansion, lateral contraction. We come to the top and then we do our 1 second pause, and think of that pause as just a transition that takes us into the exhale. Okay, all about your breathing is all about smooth waves. Okay, it's all about that controlled, smooth, calm waves. So the key to relaxation now is in that exhalation. Okay, and that's why this is so helpful to do anytime, and it could really take us to that state of calm and away from that anxiety breathing or anxious breathing. Okay. When it's a very simple process that makes that happen, okay? It's when we perform our exhale, all we have to do is make sure that our exhale is prolonged for a longer period of time than the inhale, okay? And it's that prolonged, exaggerated exhale. That's what activates your vagus nerve, sorry. And your vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve that starts up in your brainstem. And the vagus nerve connects to your face. It connects to every single major organ in your body, okay, even your intestines. And what it does, it then notifies your parasympathetic nervous system. And that's what activates your rest and digest. So it's that exaggerated exhale. That's what the mechanism of it is. That's what puts you into that state of rest and digest. Okay, so it's a very simple means of doing it. It's just a matter of doing it. So again, if you think about it, like 4 seconds in to 6 seconds out, or about a 1 to a 1.5 ratio. Okay,
Okay.
Breathing in, and we're doing our pause at the top, and then our exhale through the nose. Okay. And this is, again, all like rolling waves. And it's that exhale that's prolonged that really helps us get into that state of rest and digest. The final part is just you're going to pause at the bottom of that as well, because we have our transition from the inhale to the exhale. And then we're going to do the same thing at the bottom to transition back into the inhale. So that 1 quick second pause, and then that'll bring us right back into the rolling waves. Okay, so let's do it together. So you ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I don't know if you can hear that, but I'll use this little...
I can hear it, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to begin with our inhale now. Pause. And exhale. Inhale, bringing that air deep into our lungs, bottom to top, and outwards. It might feel a little uncomfortable. I'm sure for most it will, because this is our first time doing this after a lifetime, potentially, of dysfunctional breathing. So it might feel a little bit uncomfortable. It just takes not long at all, a few minutes or maybe a day or two to get this smooth and streamlined. Okay, every minute that you put into it is a minute that you get a lot more benefits from it. Okay. Smooth as can be. So if you think about it, I'm going to draw my imagination or my imaginary waves here. So it's all about that smooth inhale, transition to the exhale. So if we're leading into every situation in life with this smooth, controlled breathing, we lead with our breath, and then our body will follow directly behind that. Okay? And this is a process called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. And that means that your pulse, your heartbeat, will follow the rhythm set by your breath. Okay? So your breath, your body, and then your mind will follow directly behind that. Okay? And that's where that calmness, that's where that balance, that's where that emotional regulation comes from. It's that smooth, controlled breathing. And this works as a concentration exercise as well, right? This is a focus exercise. Just to kind of take us away in that focus exercise that we can carry with us into other areas in life. Okay, so this is a smooth, calm breathing as compared to the opposite, which would be that anxious, okay, that agitated breathing. For most people, it's through their mouth and in your upper chest, okay? And when you're performing that anxiety breathing or that upper chest shallow breathing, it only takes 30 seconds of that type of breathing to cut off 40% of the oxygen supply to your brain. Okay, that's after not a lot of time, right? 30 seconds. And how are you going to be able to make a judgment call or just a good decision when 40% of the oxygen flow to your brain is cut off? Okay.
Well, I certainly feel calmer than I did even when we first met, and I was super calm when we first met. So that's great. I'm curious, what do you recommend in terms of how often people do this and for how long?
Well, this technique specifically, this should be your new functional breathing. So this is what I'd like you to get to 24/7. This is what I'd like you to switch to.
My goodness, that's a big ask.
It is a big ask. But after how many
for a lot of the population, right?
Yeah, sure it is. But how we've done it for maybe 3 or 4 minutes here.
Yeah, it
And
was
are
great.
you feeling calm?
Oh, I'm feeling very calm.
Okay. Are
Yeah.
you feeling warmer by chance? Do you feel like you maybe a little bit warmer than you
It's
were?
funny that you asked that, because I was going to say it feels
Okay.
really warm in here.
Okay.
And I didn't know if that's because of the heat and I closed the window,
Yeah.
but I also feel like I'm sweating, which is
What that's
interesting.
done is because by slowing down the breath and breathing in through our nose, we're actually building up a little bit more carbon dioxide in our body. Okay.
Okay.
And what carbon dioxide does, it's not our enemy, kind of like what we've been brought up into to what we've been taught, but it's
Right.
our best friend. Okay. Carbon dioxide actually increases the oxygen uptake into our blood by about 10 to 20%. So right now, you've got a lot more blood flow, oxygen flow to your brain and to the cells of the muscles of your body. That's why you're warm. That's why you feel that warmth.
Mm.
Okay. Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting that, yeah, and I just, of course, the sound that you played is very soothing, but it was also very directional. Like when, you know, it guides you when to breathe in and when to breathe out and when to pause. And so that was really helpful. It's certainly, I believe, I'll speak for myself, but would take some practice to even remember to do that. You know, breathing, we think is like, obviously it's autonomic and, but at the same time, it's like we don't, again, speak for myself, but I don't realize how I'm breathing like 99.9% of the time. Like I realize it when I start breathing faster, if I'm anxious or I'm running or when I'm going to sleep, I realize my breathing slows, but I don't think about it any other time of the day. And so as I've been learning more about your program here, it's fascinating how simple it is, but how powerful it is, right?
Right.
And
Remembering is
just
the hardest part.
Yeah. Now, can we pair this technique with a guided imagery or a meditation of some kind? Would that be helpful, or is it just, are you wanting people just to focus on just the breath itself?
Well, first of all, and through my program, when we're doing it in our sessions, I like to be able to take people right through to teach them how to relax, first of all, okay? Because I do teach mindfulness techniques and imagery techniques, but I don't feel that that until you can relax first, that you can even really get into them. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, plus we don't know, what kind of meditation practices people are pairing them with and all of that. So that makes a lot of sense. So I want to say, Tyler, like I really appreciate that you allowed our viewers to do that, and you did that with me, and that's helpful. I'm certainly going to personally probably put a reminder on my phone, like remember your breathing technique, and I'll probably try to put it into practice.
Get yourself some stickers and put them on your cell phone,
put it on my desk here,
nightstand.
Because it was really helpful for that 3 or 4 minutes or whatever it was. And I quite, for the record, and I think you know this already, but I quite appreciate what you bring to the table, and I appreciate you as a human. I appreciate your integrity, and I consider you a friend. And so so I just want to thank you for the efforts that you put forth, especially considering the world is in chaos right now, and what you are putting forth, you're doing so kind of valiantly and for free. Like you are offering things and for people to do, to have their needs met and have some ideas about how they can do what they can do. And so I do want to put out there that although this little technique here was free, and it's part of the hangouts with us, and we're doing emergency groups and things like that with strength, if you do want to know more about breath control and what Tyler's all about, then I'm happy to pass on his contact information and get you guys connected. I although I have said that like all of us, I think there's so many businesses that are offering services for free to help people out, but I don't want to put out there that everything is free either. I think that we need to do what we can do to get our bills paid, and sometimes for some people it means mortgage deferrals and not paying the bills. But I think that we're doing everything we can in a free kind of way, putting it out there. And I know, Tyler, you are also. But if anybody is interested, then they can certainly reach out. You can just email us. At the bottom of the page, you'll see info@strengthcounseling.ca, or you can also call us, but all our information is at www.strengthcounseling.ca. And you can just peruse the website, and we'll have more information coming up. But the breath control piece is pretty, I'm not going to say pretty valuable. It is very valuable, and that's why we're taking the time with Tyler today. So Tyler, I'm really glad that you're here, and I can't do what you do. So I appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything you want to say out there in closing, or any additional to what I've said?
Yeah, I just want to say that I've enjoyed thoroughly working with you and the rest of the team with Strength, and I just think it's such a wonderful platform that you have set up to be able to offer services online and through the telehealth program. But I just want to put out there about the breath. I mean, about even that, just that simple technique that we just learned. That's just something that in a time like this, when, you know, there's a lot of unknowns, something that is free, you know, you're not paying for the air you're breathing in, right? It's always in your back pocket. It's always accessible. And I mean, it's something that's you always have with you wherever you go. So that's important things to take with you, and you can use anytime.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And if Tyler, if people wanted to go to your website, what is that?
Sure. It's just breathcontrol.ca.
Okay. And we'll put that on the
breathcontrol.ca. And I did just put out a video of different techniques that is just completely free video, is just for techniques to use during these times for breathing for the coronavirus and other respiratory illnesses. So there's a lot of even kind of precautionary breathing techniques to make sure that you're breathing with your nose, and a lot of valuable information there for healthcare providers or emergency support workers or anyone in our homes. It's helpful. So maybe we can even share that on the Strength.
Yeah, we'll put that on the posting about this video when we post it, and so this video will go out sometime next week.
Beautiful. That's terrific.
Okay, wonderful. Well, if we want to connect again, then we'll just do that via text and figure out if we want to meet again. But really, really appreciate you taking the time to do this video. The first time around, was the first video I've ever posted on Facebook ever, and I was so nervous. And then I watched it, and I was like, I thought, you know, I need to be like more myself, my vulnerability. And so here I am, and because Tyler and I are friends, like, it's actually not that hard to connect with you. And I'm just, sometimes I have to imagine that these videos aren't being recorded because, you know, we all struggle with some things, and social anxiety is one of those things for me. So this video has felt a lot more comfortable, and then you know, helped me with some breathing techniques. So that was great.
Yeah.
And I've really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I look forward to doing some more work with you as time goes on. And I think right now it's most important just to offer whatever supports we can to people out there. So check out the websites if you want, be in touch with us if you want. There are more videos to come, and certainly more emergency support groups also. So just give us a shout if you have any questions about anything you've seen here today or any other video you see in this video series. So that's that. I guess, Tyler, we'll leave it there, and then we'll just text if we need to.
All right. Great chatting with you, Amanda.
Thanks so much, Tyler. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.